All right, part two. I left off on Street Fighter Alpha. Yeah, like I said, the other Street Fighters series, the other Street Fighters were awesome too. Street Fighter 2, the anime film, which is the most popular one, which is the most popular, and widely considered to be the best, that was awesome too. However, I don't think it's better than the Street Fighter Alpha film. And then you have Street Fighter 2 Victory, which Street Fighter 2 Victory, in my opinion, isn't that good. But as you watch and as the series continues, it becomes better. The problem, as anyone knows, I love Street Fighter 2 Victory. Problem I have with Street Fighter 2 Victory is that it's too much like Dragon Ball Final Fight and the SNK franchise, such as like Fatal Fury or something like that, than Street Fighter. But as the series goes on, it does awesome stuff. And one of the things I loved about the Street Fighter 2 Victory series over everything else was their reimagining of the Sagat character. Sagat character. I also like them for their role for extending Fei Long's role in the series. He had a much larger role here than he has had in any other Street Fighter series besides the animated series. But the reason Street Fighter Alpha is the best is because despite changing a couple of things from the game, they for the most part captured the spirit of the video game. It looks like the video game, and it had the best story of any Street Fighter series with was centered around Shun, Ryu's brother, who of course you later learn at the end he was paid by Shadaloo to stand in as Ryu's brother. But it had the best storyline of any Street Fighter series besides the animated series. Next on this list, as you can see by the title, is the Fatal Fury animes. Fatal Fury animes. The first two are OAVs, and the third one is a feature-length film that was released in 1994. The one thing I like the Fatal Fury series is just like the Street Fighter and Power Stone series. Fatal Fury, especially one and two, they captured the spirit and for the most part stuck as close as possible to the games for the first two. The third one had an original story with a story based loosely on Saint Seiya and Ronin Warriors, with having the characters Terry Bogard in the game square off with Lao Karn and a group of people with a specially made Greek armor called the Armor of Mars. Fatal Fury, the motion picture, probably the best thing alongside the video games, the best thing in the Fatal Fury franchise. Only reason that this is number 8, despite being one of the best animes of all time, is because there wasn't any more after this. That's why it's number 8. Same with Street Fighter. That's why Street Fighter was number 7. They didn't make any more after Alpha or Street Fighter 2, the anime film, and Street Fighter 2 Victory took liberties with the game. Number 9, the cult classic, Fist of the North Star. Reason why Fist of the North Star is number 9, despite being one of the most revolutionary anime ever, it hasn't held up, man. The manga is better. It is not on par with the manga. However, the anime gets much better as they go along, especially when they enter Rao the Conqueror territory, the oldest brother of the four brothers trained by Ryakin, trained by Ryakin. And Fist of the North Star 2, while plot wise not as good as Fist of the North Star 1, production wise is way better than Fist of the North Star 1. Fist of the North Star 1. Yeah. So yeah, Fist of the North Star, an awesome series, and the movie, which is the first thing I saw from the Fist of the North Star franchise, is still awesome to this day, even though once again it's not on par with the anime, despite the fact that the movie actually has the violence and the artwork of the anime. The anime film was more like the manga. It looks like a violent anime film. Looks like a violent film, whereas the television series looks like a Saturday morning. Looks and feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. Saturday morning cartoon. But like I said, the anime television series didn't have the budget up and not until the second series did not have the budget of the movie. One thing I like about the anime, the television series has more from the television series has adapted more stuff from the manga. However, the other thing I can't stand about Fist of the North Star television series, and one of the reasons it's number 9, is its pacing. In the manga, the battle between Kincho and his first rival Shin, that happens quickly. he encounters him quickly. In the manga, in the manga, he encounters him quickly. In the anime, he has dozens of fights, dozens of battles and adventures before he fights Shin, and that kind of makes the show hard to watch. That's why Fist of the North Star, despite being revolutionary, I cannot recommend that to newcomers, man. It's too long. It's too long. I wish we get a remake that's more closer to the manga. Then you have the anime film. Then you have the anime film, which which moves much faster, but took several liberties. Took several liberties with the story, but it did have the artwork and the violence missing from the television series, and it had one of the best fights between Kincho and Rao I've ever seen, man. I've ever seen, and probably one of the best fights in anime movie history, man. Number 10, as you can see, is certain parts. I emphasize on that, certain parts of the Dragon Ball franchise, man. And as you can see by the title here, I use GT. I use GT. I like certain aspects of the Dragon Ball franchise. Once again, usually stuff Kira Toriyama doesn't watch. Dragon Ball GT, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, Bardock the Father of Goku, the History of Trunks, and last but not least, the Tree of Might. The Tree of Might. I've always found these things to be way more entertaining than the actual series, which now consists of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, Fakatsu no F, and now more recently Super. Super. GT, in my opinion, corrected everything that was wrong with Dragon Ball. They got the characters and their personalities to where they're supposed to be. I like the way they presented the characters much better than Super did. I also like how GT they improved on a long running problem with Dragon Ball pacing. GT is only 64 episodes. 64 episodes, and all they needed was 64 episodes for a decent story, lots of action, and GT captured the spirit of both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. They were essentially what both of those shows should have been. They had the comedy, they had the comedy from Dragon Ball for the early seasons. Then the latter part of the series had the more serious, dramatic tone that's associated with Dragon Ball Z. Much better animation. The dubbing for each company was better during this season. Japanese Funimation and of course Blue Water or Ocean, who are always good. Um, yeah, just an awesome series. And finally, the most badass thing about GT, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Baby Vegeta, baby with Vegeta's body. Awesome, man. And I've always loved that. Even back when I was hating on GT, I always thought Baby and Super Saiyan 4 Goku were awesome. And yeah, so this was my top 10 animes um, list. Like I said, this was the introduction to other various top anime and top cartoon lists. My next one is my top action cartoons list, and someday I'm gonna do a video I've been meaning to do for a long time. My top comedy cartoons list. You mostly see action because I like action more than comedy, but I like both genres. All right, I'm done, people.